I need to stop moving my hands around so much. This wide angle lens makes them look huge. It looks weird, they look so much bigger. Hold on, I've got an idea. Okay, so it doesn't make everything look bigger. Word to your mother, my name's Steve, it's Chandler's Frags to Riches. Thanks for tuning in. As always, it's really appreciated. Today I am responding to a tag video. So Nigel at 2 cents worth tagged me to do show me your dick or something like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's get on with this. The name of the tag video is actually called Show Me Your Spritz, and it was started by Moody Boo Reviews. And it's a really interesting tag actually, because all the names of the categories within the tag have got weird and wonderful names, and it's not the obvious kind of tags that we see every day in Fragcom. So fair play to her for coming up with something that's different and innovative. So the first category, for example, is called Unicorns Are Real, and it's all about the fragrance that you search for the longest before owning or acquiring. Now I've taken this slightly out of context because I want to talk about La Nuit de l'Homme from the house of YSL. So I love La Nuit de l'Homme. It is one of my foundation fragrances that just got me into fragrances and got me excited. The smell of it, I just realised that this was the fragrance that made me really get excited about the potential fragrances and how good you can smell, because I just love it so much. Unfortunately, my batch is only a couple of years old. It's a recent formulation, so it's basically the watered down one. So as much as this smelled good, it does not last on my skin, unfortunately, which is just really disappointing. So I want the 2009 original formulation so much it hurts, but I just can't justify the price. I just can't do it. So basically, the Unicorn is a stronger version of La Nuit de l'Homme, the original formulation. I have sort of scratched that itch a little bit because a couple of years ago, I think it was last year actually, YSL launched La Nuit de l'Homme Eau de Parfum, so the EDP version. Now I blind bought this without even looking into it because I basically just hoped it would answer my prayers and it would just be a stronger version of La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, unfortunately it's not, because they have also tweaked the formulation. So it is stronger, it is richer, but it kind of gets a lot of that strength from a tweak in the formulation and some of the notes. So this does actually include leather, for example. Now, this did not get much love in Fragcom, but I still stand by it. I do actually love this fragrance, so I don't regret blind buying this at all, and I still love this fragrance. So it has sort of scratched the itch for me in the fact that it takes that original DNA, and it's very similar, but it does tweak it. It's a bit stronger, it does perform a lot better on my skin, but it is slightly different because it has got leather. So I do still love this. I think it's a great sexy fragrance, but it's not the 2009 La Nuit de l'Homme formulation that I just so long for. The next category is House of the Rising Scent, and it's all about a house that well, I don't know if it's a new house or a house that you've newly discovered. Either way, I think I've met the category because I'm going for Kieran NYC. So these guys launched in 2018 in the US, and then they launched their UK presence in 2019 last year by opening a shop in London, and now you can find them on most of the sort of main fragrance websites in the UK and in some of the stores as well. So it's just, the reason this house excites me so much, well, there's a few reasons actually, but one, you're getting niche fragrances for the price of designer ones, which I think's just really exciting. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not like paying niche prices really, unless I really have to. So the fact that you can get niche fragrances here for such a good price, that's piqued my interest straight away. And then also I just loved the branding and the styling with the white bottles and the sort of retro kind of feel, but with a sort of modern vibe as well. I thought that was really cool. And I also loved the sound of most of the fragrances from the initial lineup. I loved them so much that I blind bought Sunday Brunch. So Sunday Brunch is a tea-based fragrance. It's Earl Grey tea, and it's also got citrus in it as well. So I've not got anything like this. So to me, this is a really unique fragrance, and it's a really good quality one as well. I'm really pleased with the quality of this and the performance. I wouldn't say it's a fragrance that excites me like La Nuit de l'Homme does, as I mentioned earlier, but it is such a good fragrance and it's very easy to wear. As the name suggests, it's Sunday Brunch, so it's a very relaxing, chilled out kind of fragrance, but you could certainly wear this in the office without any problem because it's so inoffensive. I just really I'm just really intrigued by this house, and I'm really excited, and this is such a good fragrance. I'm really excited to try more from these guys. So yeah, I'm going with Kieran NYC. So the next category is Heart the Hype. It's all about a fragrance that got hyped within the community, but you totally agree with that hype and you think it's justified. So for me, I'm gonna go for Armani Code Profumo. I think this is an absolute banger. It's my scent of the day today, and I even got an unsolicited compliment from the wife today, which is like rocking horse shit. That doesn't happen. We were doing some DIY and she just stopped and kind of said, hold on, something smells good, and she smelled me and went, oh, it's you. So yeah, that is very rare in our household. I've previously described Armani Code Profumo as Armani Code, but a version that makes women want to sit on your face. And it is that. It's such a sexy date night fragrance, but it just performs so well. It's really rich. It's not so full on that you can actually probably wear it in the office if you wanted to. It's just so nice. Now, interestingly, when I first smelt this, it wasn't an instant love for me. I smelt it in store and I just thought, yeah, it's nice, but it just smells like a sweeter version of Armani Code. And I kind of went away, let it dry down, and the kind of leather come through, and it sort of just clicked. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a sweeter, sexier version of Armani Code, and that's why it works. Armani Code is a good fragrance, but they've made this kind of sexier and just even more desirable. So I just think this is an absolute banger. So yeah, mine's Armani Code Profumo. So the next category is called Renounce the Ounce. It's about a fragrance that got hyped, but you don't think that hype was justified and you disagree with the hype. So for me, I think, I've said it before, but I'm gonna have to go with Aventus. I know it's a boring answer, but I was just so disappointed. I think because I got into, well, I didn't get into Aventus, but I tried Aventus after the hype. So it'd been hyped as the king and the best fragrance in the world ever, and then I smelt it. Perhaps if I kind of got in earlier, I would have appreciated it a bit more and kind of went along with the hype rather than kind of reacting to it. I don't know. But yeah, I smelt it in store and I was so excited to smell it because I thought it was just gonna be amazing. So it had a lot of living up to do, to be honest, and it didn't. I was just disappointed. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance, obviously it's not. It's clearly a great fragrance, not disputing that, but I just don't think the hype is justified. And again, I've not smelled a lot of the earlier batches, which are meant to be better, like the smokier batches are meant to be kind of better than the sort of current, more fruitier ones. So I've only smelled the more recent batches. So again, perhaps that's kind of part of the effect. But for me, I just don't get it, and I just don't think it's the king. I think it is a good fragrance, but yeah, it's like U2 for me. I'm not disputing they're a good band, but I just don't get the hype, mate. The next category is Love is Blind Buying. Now, it's all about the best blind buy that you ever made. Now, this was a difficult one for me. I could have chose quite a few fragrances from my collection, if I'm honest, because I do love a blind buy. A lot of my fragrances I blind bought, and my success rate is not bad actually. So sometimes I sell on, but yeah, I've done quite well out of blind buying. But all things considered, I think I had to go with Mercedes-Benz Cologne. This was a blind buy. It just really appealed. I saw some good reviews on it on Fragrantica. I love the note of mandarin. And I managed to get this 120ml bottle for about £20, I think it was. It was like $19.99, I think. And it was a blind buy, and I've not regretted it at all. It's absolutely an amazing fragrance. I love the smell of it. It totally resonates with me. It's got my favourite notes in there. It's very much a summer freshie. It's very similar to Dior Homme Cologne, but this was a hell of a lot cheaper and performs a lot better. Now, the reason why I ended up opting for this is not only is this such a good fragrance, and actually recently I had a comment left on one of my videos from a subscriber who bought this off of the back of my first impressions video, and he's just thanked me because he's just obsessed with it. So that was sort of fresh in my mind. So that was like really pleased to kind of see. But also, since buying this, I got this right at the sweet spot, because this was basically discontinued not that long after I bought it, and this is now going for like silly money. It's more expensive than Dior Homme Cologne, which seems madness to me. So yeah, I'm really chuffed. I've got a massive bottle and this is just going to last forever. Oh, I love the smell of this. So yeah, the performance isn't brilliant. Well, it does hang around. It lasts quite a long time, but it does lack a bit of projection, if I'm honest. So I do go quite heavy and spray my hair and clothes. But all things considered, for the price, the fact that this is now really hard to get hold of, and just how good it smells, I just had to go for Mercedes-Benz cologne. The next category is called Crystal Baller, and it's all about the fragrance that you are, or the fragrance purchase that you're most anticipating or excited by. So I don't tend to covet fragrances for too long because I'm quite impulsive. As I say, I do blind buy, and if I want something, I do tend to just get it, which is bad. I'm not always proud of that. So for me, I think the one that I certainly plan on getting at some point and I covet and I'm excited by would be Parfums de Marly's Layton. Anybody that follows the channel, you know I love Royal Equestrian from Alexandria. I love that so much. It's the best fragrance I've picked up this year. I just find it so addictive. I just think it's unique, yet it's still mass appealing. I've picked up compliments and I just love it. I wore it yesterday and I just kept smelling it, and I just love that fragrance. So I think I owe it to myself and I owe it to PDM to buy the original. So I will definitely get the original Layton at some point. I probably will get a sample of Layton exclusive actually as well, just to see how it compares. But I will definitely pull the trigger on that. It's something that I need to do. So yeah, that's the fragrance that I'm excited by, and I can't wait to have it in my collection and have that bottle. I think I owe it to myself and I owe it to PDM. So yeah, I'm going with Layton from the House of Parfums de Marly. The next category is called I Like to Go Bareback. Now, the next category is called I Take It Rare. Now, it's all about a fragrance that that you own that probably nobody else does. So for this one, I felt like I had to go back to my roots and talk about, I've talked about it a few times on my channel, but the first fragrance I ever reviewed, and I still stand by, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. It's a celebrity fragrance, and it's Callum Best Original Gold Edition. You can see I've kind of rinsed through this, mainly because the performance isn't great. You do have to go kind of really heavy, but I really enjoy this fragrance. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've not smelt it for a while actually. It's been at the back of my shelf, so I'm gonna have to wear it. I often wear this when I used to wear this a lot before I kind of really got into fragrances. This is my second bottle of this, I think. I actually love it. It's really quite unique. It's got some mint, some spearmint at the top. There's also some kind of florals, and there's like a leather in there as well. It's a very fresh, manly, attractive fragrance. Not particularly complex. It is quite light, so the performance isn't great, but it just smells really good, and you can get it for about £7 or £8 in the UK. It is a bit of a guilty pleasure, because if anybody asked me, to say that you're wearing Callum Best would be, it's kind of not great, but you know, who cares? It's about kind of smelling good. And this smells good, and it does actually make me feel good. It's just a shame that it just doesn't last. But yeah, not many people own this, and that's Callum Best Original Gold Edition. The next category is called I Am Stuck On BandAid. So it's all about the fragrance. If you could create a fragrance for your favorite artist, kind of band or actor, kind of what would it be called and what would the prominent notes be? So originally I started thinking about what band or music artist I would kind of go for. I'm into kind of hip hop music, and the trouble is they're so kind of prolific with loads of different rappers. One of my favorites is Brother Ali, who's a white, albino, registered blind Muslim. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start, kind of what he might be his vibe, I don't know. But anyway, I've decided to go for my favourite actor actually. I love Denzel Washington. I just think he's an absolute amazing actor. So yeah, I decided to kind of go for him. He's my favourite actor of all time ever, quite easily. And I think I would call the fragrance Guarantee. Now, I don't know if you've seen it, I'll link it below, there's a video online. Basically, it's a phrase that he uses a lot in films. He guarantees a lot.
That's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it. She'll be here, I guarantee you. Much more, I guarantee it.
I can guarantee you that I will see to it that Harvard does not ignore that.
So I would definitely call it guarantee. It's something that Denzel likes to do. And I imagine Denzel being quite sophisticated. Obviously he's kind of more mature kind of guy. So I'm thinking it definitely have some vetiver in there. I think it might have some kind of, I think it might be sort of quite manly, but in a nice kind of sophisticated way. So I'm imagining there's probably going to be some sandalwood, maybe some cedar, but I think there's going to be some sort of greener, fresher elements in it as well. I imagine him sort of maybe quite liking something like green Irish tweed or something like that. That's the sort of fragrance I imagine him sort of maybe rocking. I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, so that's the sort of fragrance I think I would go for. And yeah, it'd be called Guarantee, and he would damn well guarantee it. The final category is Brain Fart Stink 2, and it's all about your most expensive purchase regret. And I think I almost feel bad doing this, but I think I'm going to have to go for Fragrance One Office for Men. I blind bought this. I managed to get a good deal on it, thankfully. Somebody was getting a 2-for-1, so basically I got this sort of half price. So, but this bottle of the what is this? This is batch 2. Cost me about 77 quid. That sort of touch, between 70 and 80 pounds. I think it's about 77 pounds, I think. And so it's not the most expensive fragrance I've bought, but it's probably the one my most expensive regret. I did try selling it after, and I couldn't really get my money back, so I just thought I'd just keep it and wear it, because it's not a bad fragrance, okay? It's not a bad fragrance. I actually even included it in my recent top 10 fragrances for spring, because it's a perfectly nice fragrance. I don't dislike it. It was just disappointing for the price. I just think, even at half price, as I say, I paid about £77 for this. I think that's overpriced. I think it should be 50 to 60 quid. So it's not like I overpaid by much in my head, but I just don't think it warrants it. I've got other fragrances that do a very similar thing that I much prefer. I prefer Bleu de Chanel EDP to this. And I prefer Mont Blanc Explorer, which is, half the price of what I paid for this. So I just don't feel like I need this in my collection, even though it is a perfectly good fragrance. It's a nice fragrance, but it's just overpriced. So if I'd smelt it before, I wouldn't have paid that money for it. If I could pick this up for like 30, 40 quid, then yeah, I probably would buy it. But yeah, so that's my biggest kind of regret. Not a bad fragrance by any means, perfectly nice, perfectly pleasant. Does actually perform well once the ambroxan kicks in, but just not worth the money in my mind. So yeah, I don't need it in my collection, so that's why it's my most expensive regret. So that's it. There's nothing left to do other than tag some people, and I haven't got a fucking clue to tag. I've literally just been looking on my phone, because loads of people have done this, and I don't know who has and who hasn't now. I've lost track. So I'm gonna tag somebody that I watched earlier, the Scentient Man. So I think he's got a really good take on fragrances, a really kind of good collection. So it'd be really interesting to see like his regrets and his, etc., what he covers. So that'd be an interesting one. So yeah, going for the Scentient Man. I'm gonna go for Killafrags, because I just love his work, and he uploaded a video recently, much to my excitement, so hopefully he's going to start creating content again. So hopefully this will kind of give him something to do and kickstart him back into kind of generating content a bit more regularly. And I'm also going to tag Chad at Gentleman's Journey, because he's got a massive collection. And he's so like honest over kind of, if he thinks something's trash or if he doesn't like it. So he'll just, no holds barred. He'll say if it's something he regrets or whatever. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Chad has to kind of offer as well for this tag. So those are the people I've been tagging. I hope you got something out of this video. You found it mildly enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, I would appreciate a sub. But there's a lot of commitments in life, so I don't hold it against you if you don't want to commit to me. It took me long enough to pin my wife down, so yeah, I don't mind. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you for the next video. Take care, much love.